Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the update stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Artemis, D, and Cobalt. Say hi, guys.
Hi guys.
Hello.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, the industrial system is here. That is right. In 1 hour, the forced update and map wipe will be going live, and with it, a whole bunch of new ways to automate your base. So, as always, we're going to be going through what you need to know as a player that's coming in with this update. And as always, if you have any questions, please ask Miss D underscore that's me in chat. Now, you might be saying if you joined us before, wait, wasn't it, don't we ask Shadow in chat? And Shadow has transitioned to Miss D. So it's still Shadow, but she's going by Miss D underscore that's me now. So when you have questions, please do that name in chat so she can see them. We'll get to as many questions as we have the opportunity to. And before we get into it, a real quick announcement. The final numbers for Charitable Rust 2022 came in. Facepunch did put their portion of the skin sales up to the Tiltify campaign, and that brought the Tiltify campaign to $253,797 raised for World Central Kitchen. So I just want to take a moment before we get into it and acknowledge everyone for their participation and involvement in that. With that, that brings the total cumulative amount raised over all charitable Rust to over $1 million that we've raised for charities over the years we've been doing this. So a huge thank you to everyone who participated, who bought skins, who did production, who joined us for the event. And especially a huge thank you, as always, to Facepunch, because without them, we seriously could not have a fraction of the input and impact that we have on these charities and people all over the world. So thank you, Facepunch, as always. And we will be back for Charitable Rust 2023. We're already planning it. It looks like it's going to be in early to mid-October this year, so like a month earlier. So stay tuned for more information on that. But now with that out of the way, let's get into it. Industrial System is going live today. Now, if you haven't been tracking Rust development for the month, I'll just go over kind of an overview here. And real quick, I need to take a little sip. My mouth is a little dry. There we go. Anyway, so the industrial system is going live today. And with it, what it is basically is a number of new deployables and items. And with those items and deployables and the existing items in the game, you can now automate activities in your base like never before. And that looks like automating item movement and storage, smelting, crafting, and more. So what we're going to do is go over some of the core components or items in this industrial system, explain a little bit of how they work. As always, all this information is available on rustafied.com. If you're not aware, we do not only the stream every week on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, but we also do an article every week, and that goes through everything going on in Rust development. So rustafied.com has a good summary of this. There's also a link to our industrial system overview article in there, and that has more specific information on each item, like the crafting costs and things like that. And that article I did put out earlier last month, but it is updated with the updated costs and everything like that. Now, real quick, before I go further, I do realize I want to confirm to everyone wondering, is this a blueprint wipe along with a map wipe? So what's going on is with every first Thursday, there's a big update, and every first Thursday of the month, big update and a forced map wipe. Now, sometimes Facepunch will force a blueprint wipe, but it doesn't look like that is the case this month. There's no forced blueprint wipe with this industrial system going live. That said, a lot of servers do choose to wipe the blueprints with the first Thursday of the month. And Rustafied is in that category. With the exception of our US and EU Medium 3 servers, we will not only be wiping maps, but also blueprints when this update comes out. And once again, the update is expected to hit in about 55 minutes from now at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT. And we'll keep you posted as it comes out. Generally, the server update hits first, and then we wait another 10, 15 minutes. Then the devlog and client update come out, and that's when we say the server and the everything is live. All right, let's get into what some of these industrial system items are. First and foremost, we have conveyors. And conveyors are basically the engine of the industrial system. The conveyor is something that's going to propel items from one place to another. So, for instance, if you wanted to just have like a drop box or a couple drop boxes near the front of your base, and then just when any item is piped or put in that drop box, it's just piped deeper into your base so it's more secure. Well, the conveyor is going to be the thing that you'll use to do that. Now, along with that, you'll have the pipe tool. And the pipe tool is basically the wire tool or the hose tool equivalent for this industrial system. It is the thing that connects all of these components together. Now, the pipe tool behaves very similar to the wire or hose tool, like as how you place things. You can select some different colors. There's 4 colors. You hold R to change the color of the pipes as you're working with them, and they can go a max of 30 meters. But unlike the wires and hose tool, the pipes cannot just go willy-nilly through walls. You can put them through windows, ladder hatches, and doors, including closed doors, but the pipes will not themselves just go through walls. So this will stop people from just armoring off behind a bunch of walls all their loot in an inaccessible way. But yeah, the pipe tool is what connects all these things together. So say if you wanted a conveyor that sent stuff into your base, you'd have the conveyor, you'd hook it up to electricity, and then you'd hook the pipes up to the input and output. And when something was put in the first box, providing you have no filters there, it would just go automatically through to the other box that you linked it to. Now, the other cool thing about conveyors is that you can actually add filters for specific items or categories of items. So if you wanted to send like all clothing through, you could, but then raw resources wouldn't move through. And with all this stuff, I do want to take this opportunity to point out this is a first iteration of this system. And already in the commits, we're seeing additions and shifts and changes and tweaks to this system. And I say so while I'm talking about the conveyor because this is one of the things that we're already seeing a new iteration of this take form on staging and in development. So what they're going to be doing is adding an inverse option on the conveyors as well. Right now, you set a filter and you say, okay, wood, just move all the wood through there. And then if it's wood, it'll move through. If it's not wood, it won't move through. But with the inverse, what you'll be able to do is say, set a wood filter, but then what it'll do is move everything but wood through, if that makes sense. Now, the other thing with the filters is you can set a min and a max on those filters. And so the min is only starting to transfer if that amount of that item is in the input box or more. And the max thing is basically it'll stop transferring to the destination when that destination container has that max amount of items. So you can not only filter items and categories of items, but you can kind of get some logic going with, how that is going to go through. Now, the industrial conveyor is 75 metal frags to craft, 30 seconds, 20 scrap to research. It's not a default blueprint, but pretty easy to research, and level 1 workbench to run. And it's, I believe, just 1 rust watt as far as electricity is concerned, but it does require electricity to run the filters and all that stuff. Now, next order of business we got is industrial crafting. This is another huge part of the industrial system. And what it allows you to do basically is just write what it sounds like, automatically craft items given a blueprint and the resources. Now, how this works is there's this new industrial crafter item, and it's 3 high quality metal, 2 tech trash to craft, 75 scrap to research. It is a level 2 workbench item, and it does require electricity. And roughly how this works is you take the industrial crafter and you place it on a workbench. It can be placed on any tier workbench you want, and then it will be able to craft the blueprints associated with that tier. So you can't plop one on a level 1 workbench and then craft tier 3 item things on there. But providing you have the right workbench level and everything like that, you hook up the electricity, then what you do is provide it a blueprint and the ingredients on the input, and then on the output, you can just feed it to a box or storage box or whatever, And then when it has electricity and the required resources, it will just automatically craft and send the items through. So that's a pretty cool thing. What you can kind of do with this is, well, a whole lot. You can set up things to automatically drop in your base and then go deeper in your base. And then let's get into industrial smelting real quick, because that's another key part of this. So industrial smelting is another factor of this, where you can integrate existing furnaces, and there's a new electric furnace that you can integrate with this industrial system. So to paint a broader picture here, what you can do with this industrial system really is drop raw resources at the front of your base, have them piped through into a deeper, safer part of your base, and then take certain, using filters on conveyors, take certain raw resources, send them through to a furnace, be it a normal furnace, a large furnace, or one of the new electric furnaces, and then have those items be smelted, and then exit that furnace as just the actual smelted resource. And then you could have that smelted resource feed into an auto crafter and craft an item. So you could literally set this system up in a way where you're just dropping raw resources at the front of your base, and they're running through different filters, conveyors, and everything, smelting certain items, and then going through from smelt to crafting. And then from craft, you can send them back to the front of your base or to a locker. And you can literally set up a system where you drop raw resources at the front, and then it runs through, processes them, creates and crafts the items you want. And then you can press a button on or near a box and have it spit out a kit that's automatically been crafted. I mean, that's the expandability of this system here. Now, the electric furnace is a new item, and it's like the normal furnaces, except it runs on electricity. So you're not going to need wood to fuel it, but also it doesn't produce charcoal because it's not burning wood. It runs on 3 rust watts, and based on our testing, it's about 40% faster than a normal furnace. So although you're not going to get charcoal, you're not going to have to spend the wood, and it actually is going to smelt things a little faster based on our testing. Keep in mind, all this is subject to change, but that's what we were seeing in initial testing. Now, the electric furnace is 5 high quality metal to craft, and or 5 high qual and 200 metal frags to craft. It's 75 scrap to research, and level 2 workbench. And yeah, that's how you get the electric furnace. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how do I attach all this stuff though? Like, how do I attach a large wood storage or like a locker or whatever to this industrial system? And that's really where the storage adapter comes into play. And it really lives up to its name because it is an adapter. It's a basically universal adapter to link these existing deployables to the industrial system. So you can deploy a storage adapter on large or small wood boxes, on furnaces, large furnaces, electric furnaces, a tool cupboard, a drop box, a fridge, locker, vending machine, small oil refinery, or even a coffin. And what you do is you basically craft one of these storage adapters. It's 100 metal frags to craft, 20 scrap to research, level 1 workbench item. And you craft it, and then you place it on, there's various different sockets on certain of these items that you can just put a adapter on. And then it has industrial in and industrial out. And so you use this as like the go between, the adapter really is the word for it, right? To get items into boxes or to pull items out of boxes. And once again, you can use this for boxes. This is the go-between for furnaces. This is even the go-between for, you put one on your cupboard and you can automatically feed your cupboard resources as it needs it. And then finally, on the industrial components that we have coming into the game, there's 2 final ones, the industrial splitter and the industrial combiner. And those are both 75 metal frags to craft, 20 research, 20 scrap to research, level 1 workbench. You can hit R when you're placing them to rotate them, depending on how you're setting up your industrial system and how you want to lay your pipes. And the industrial splitter is just that. It's like the splitter for the hoses. It takes 1 and splits it into 3. And then the combiner is just the same but inverse. It's take 3 things and put it into 1. And those don't require electricity or anything. You just hook the pipes up to it and you're golden. So that is the overview of the industrial system. Once again, I do want to strongly stress that this is a first iteration. Already there's improvements and changes being developed on staging that aren't going live today, but will come in future updates. And with anything like this, I would not be surprised at all, given the scale of this system. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see a little couple hot fixes come tomorrow and through the weekend, probably little server or optional client hot fixes coming out, because inevitably there's going to be some tweaks and changes the devs need to do. And then I imagine over the coming months, we're going to see some improvements and further build out of this system. And for instance, one case of that, as I mentioned, is with regards to that conveyor, and they're working on the inverse filters for the conveyor. So it's going to be cool to see how players use this. It's going to be cool to see how the devs build this out further. And I'm really excited to see this go live. And ideally, this is improvement of quality of life, not just for big groups, but also for smaller groups and individuals, uh, enabling them to set up automations in their base so that their base is doing stuff for them while they're out gathering more resources. So this is ideally a win-win for everyone in the game. Now, on top of the industrial system, we've got some other things coming in the update today, and I'll run through them before we do a couple questions. Next, we have code lock quality of life. Some little changes to kind of UI elements of the code locks, but it should improve your quality of life. So basically, now it's prioritizing change lock when the code lock is first placed. It's also prioritizing lock when the code lock is unlocked. And then it doesn't open changelog UI right after entering a code. And also it will show open door as the default option rather than change lock when building is blocked. So if you go up to a base that, you know, you've never seen and building is blocked, you'll just see open door. Also, we've got some loot shifts to the train wagons around the map. Basically, there's a couple more variants of train wagons that have been added, and there's going to be some new loot options in there, including some options with military crates. And also, it looks like there's some food and medical crates spawning in loot wagons now, too. So, just some tweaks and improvements. And I'm going to go as far to say some buffs to train wagon loot. Now, also, there's a bunch of miscellaneous fixes. I'm not going to go through them all, but they are listed on rustafied.com if you scroll down on my article today. And the main one I'm going to go through is just allow doors to be placed on top of deployables like boxes, sleeping bags, etc. So if you've ever been trying to place a door and someone's bag is right there or something like that, and you haven't been able to place it, man, that's a real pain in the butt. Or if you got to empty and destroy boxes to just place a door, that sucks. Well, no longer is that the case, because now it will allow doors to be placed on top of deployables. Very cool. There's also a bunch of other miscellaneous fixes like updating the deploy effect for trophy item and adding colliders to power line tarps to prevent dropped items from, yada yada, and a bunch of other stuff. So once again, head over to rustified.com under miscellaneous fixes if you want to see like all the nitty-gritty details of the miscellaneous fixes, because there are a good amount of them. Now, also, the other thing we have going live this month, and as a server owner, I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous about this one, but this is a new networking for the servers going live today. Now, this is like a two-step process. The first step is launching what's called multi-threaded networking. And then the second step is going to be switching from RackNet to Steam networking. Now, we're doing step one this month. And I say we, it's Face Punch. Once again, we're not developers of the game. We're just fans of the game like you who love reporting on development news and running the best servers we can. But yeah, step one is today, and that's multi-threaded networking. And basically, long and short, not to get too technical, but the game pretty much just runs on one CPU core at the moment. And then this multi-threaded networking will allow the networking part of it, which is a pretty taxing part, to run on multiple other threads, is the idea, or that's at least my understanding of it. So it should provide better performance for servers and subsequently a better experience for players. But it's a new system and it involves the entire networking of the game, which with a massive multiplayer game, that's a pretty important piece of it. So intention is everything runs super smooth and we do see better performance with the servers after the update. So, and I literally have my fingers crossed here. So we will see. Now, with that multi-threaded networking change, though, you will notice server owners had to set a query port that's different from their server port. And the byproduct of that is a lot of your favorites and history will be reset for your servers. Now, at Rustafied, we actually figured a little workaround for most of our servers with our host. So hopefully you'll still see a lot of the Rustified servers on your favorites and history. But if you're missing favorites and history after the update, it is because all servers did have to change this query port to align with this new multi-threaded networking. And within that, it kind of resets the in-game server list, the history, and the favorites. So if you are looking for a server and you can't find it, it's not because necessarily the server went offline for good or anything like that. I would just check out their Discord or website and find the direct connect info, or refresh your list and just search for them again because it's a slight change. Now, also this month, we do shed a tear and say goodbye to Hapis. Hapis is really our favorite static map, officially supported static map in the game. It goes back years. It's a wonderful map, but unfortunately, Facepunch has decided to stop supporting it and take it out of official rotation. I am happy to say that the community, I love this community. The community has stepped up, and some great members of the community are working on a community built Hapis. So there will still be options to play Hapis. Hapis isn't totally going to die, but it is kind of going the way of Savis, where Facepunch just decided, you know what, the juice ain't worth the squeeze anymore. We're not going to keep updating this. We're going to focus on proc gen and things like that. But if you do want to check out the community Hapis, head over to their Discord. It's discord.gg and then /Hapis Rust. One word, Hapis Rust. And check them out. They're doing a great job. And it's going to be cool to see how the community built Hapis, really comes along here. Now, you might be wondering, well, Zen Labs, the Rustified US and EU Zen Labs have run Hapis for a while. What are you doing with those servers? Well, for the time being, we're lateraling, we're shifting to, we really looked for an experience that doesn't currently exist on the official list. And what we landed on was doing some hand-picked small maps, 2.5K, small pop, 100 pop, PvP oriented, where Bandit and Outpost are combined to maximize building space. And basically, it's just going to be, yeah, a real small PvP oriented, high action kind of weekly wipe server. And what we did with this is we did hand pick some maps. We do have map voting for most of our servers on our Discord that goes live 28 hours before the wipe. But for this, and especially for the first month, what we wanted to do is really hand pick the best maps that we could to optimize for PvP and monuments and building space. And so those maps are also available on our Discord on the EU or US server info channels, and you can check them out. But that's what we're going to be doing with Zen Labs, both EU and US, for the foreseeable future. We're going to keep an eye on the community built Hapis, and I will consider putting that back in rotation at some point in the future on Zen Labs. But for the time being, we wanted to try this kind of low pop, small map, high PvP action. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and you can find the Zen Lab servers on the official list after the update. And then just a note for server owners, as I was talking about this multi-threading and everything like that, just a reminder to any server owner out there, you do need to update your query ports. The server.port and server.query port can no longer share the same port. A lot of servers did share that port. With the multi-threaded networking, it can no longer share the same port. So you need to manually in your config set that server.query port to something different. Otherwise, people are going to have a hard time finding and connecting to your server after the update. For more information on that and examples of a good config and a bad config, scroll down to the bottom of rustified.com on my post today, because I did kind of summarize that there. Woo, okay, I got through it. I think that's everything for the first run through. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we have a lot. Let's start with when is whip and is it a force wipe and blueprint wipe?
Yes, indeed. So whip will happen 35 minutes from now, roughly. That is when the update and force wipe is expected to occur. Now, as with all first Thursdays of the month, this is a forced map wipe. So the map will wipe on all servers. As far as blueprints are concerned, it is not a forced blueprint wipe. It did, with all this stuff going live, I could see FaceSponge taking the opportunity to force a blueprint wipe, but they're not doing it from the looks of it. So blueprints will not wipe on servers unless the server chooses to wipe blueprints. Now, with Rustafied, we do choose to wipe blueprints on all of our servers, with the exception of US and EU medium threes, every month with the forced wipe. And that's just to keep gameplay real fresh and all that stuff. So all Rustafied servers except the medium threes will be wiping maps and blueprints when this update hits. If you're playing on another community server or something and you're not sure, check out their Discord and ask them. I'm sure they got information there.
Can you please give BR a chance again?
I would love to. And for anyone who's not aware, we did at the beginning of this year shut our BR servers down. And we did that because we couldn't find reliable hosting in the region. The host we were with for a while literally went out of business and they weren't good to begin with. And then we found a new host that was shipping hardware down to Sao Paulo and we signed up. We even paid them and everything like that. The hardware got shipped down and then stolen from customs. Then more hardware got shipped down and then it got caught in customs because I guess the wheels weren't greased the right way or whatever. And it hit the new year. We had been hosting BR out of Texas just for lack of a better solution, hosting BR out of Texas for like the better part of 6 months last year, and no sign of anything changing. So with the new year, I just decided to shut BR down. And we did explore so many different hosts in South America and literally could not find a reliable option. So I would love to host in BR. I will keep an eye open and explore opportunities there, but for the time being, it's just not really an option. And I do apologize. I know that's a letdown to everyone in Latin America, and we did try our best, but really the infrastructure just isn't there. It's not feasible to host a server up to our quality down there, unfortunately.
I heard a rumor that drones are coming into Rust. Is that true? And if so, is this wipe or in the future?
It is true. Drones are being worked on in Rust, and these are remote controlled drones, but they're not what you might first think. Because what I first thought when I'm like remote controlled drones, okay, that's cool. They're going to be for like reconnaissance. You can send them around the map and scout out stuff, right? But it looks like, based on the commits, and this is still all up in the air because it's all on a separate branch and the devs haven't really released anything specific yet, but based on commits, what we're seeing is that the remote control drones will actually be kind of a remote control for your turrets. So the turret laser will be magnified and the drone and actually that turret laser will be like the crosshair for the drone, if that makes sense. So I think that means you'll be able to launch a drone up around your base and then actually choose where within a range where the auto turret fires using the drone to aim. So that's going to be pretty cool, I think. Definitely is an interesting concept. We're keeping an eye on it. It is not coming this month, but it is in progress and active progress. So not in like concept limbo or anything like that. So we'll keep an eye. Maybe it will be coming in March or April.
Can you break the new electrical components?
I'm thinking industrial components. Is that?
Yeah, like what is it called? Conveyor? Conveyor.
And yes, the pipes cannot be destroyed, but the now I'm doing it. The industrial components can be destroyed.
What would happen if a box was full for depositing? Does the movement stop or get thrown on the floor?
And Cobalt, what were we seeing with that behavior?
If the receiving box is full, then transferring just stops.
Yeah, you can see it here.
Can you use it with the mixing tables?
No, no industrial integration with mixing tables at this moment.
I saw a lot of people ask if we could show the sea, like the water.
Sure, yeah, I was just over there, but I'll pop back.
Can you use it on your phone app?
The industrial is not integrated with the Rust Plus app specifically yet. I could see that happening in the future, but as it stands, no integration.
Uh, I'd like to point out if you use like box monitors and smart switches and stuff, you can turn on and off the industrial equipment with smart switches and monitor boxes and things. So it's not directly integrated, but you can make it work.
Yes, thank you for that clarification, Cobalt.
Someone is asking, can you see if the rat teas are fixed? If you put on a rat suit, drink a pure rat tea, and go to launch site building.
Yeah, I'm sure we could test that real quick.
Sure.
How easy is it to destroy the pipes or deployables with melee or explosives?
Yeah, do we want to shoot some, or Cobalt, do you want to maybe shoot some of those industrial components and see
Yeah.
how easy? They're all 200 HP, right?
Some of them are actually only 30, the adapters and things like that. The conveyors are
Okay.
200.
Conveyors are 200, adapters are 30. Cool. So they're going to be a little easier to break the adapters, but yeah.
Going through here so I not read out the same. Does the water update come out today too?
Yeah, what are you guys seeing with the water? Are you noticing a lot of differences there?
I do see a slight difference, to be fair, but not something hugely. They have obviously made changes, but I can't exactly say anything's behaving particularly differently. It just looks a bit more. It has a bit more fidelity to it.
Cool.
A bit
Yeah.
more of an overlay, a bit more translucent. I think they were saying a bit more watery, which is probably about right.
Little water. Looks a little wetter, maybe. But yeah, we'll go over and show the water again here in a moment.
I will. Yep, I'll do that. So if you were just this with the red tea, there's no reds for launch.
All right, cool.
Yeah. For the train loot update, does that mean that some can be looted without going to train yard?
Did you see any Cobalt that fell under that category? Is it still they all need to be taken to train yard? We just have a couple extra new variants going on.
Yeah, I didn't see any that you could loot without going to train yard. Just different variants, but they still have all the dirt and debris on top.
Yeah, that was my sense of it as well. So just some new types of train wagon loot you're going to find around, but yeah, you still will need to attach them and bring them to the coaling tower. Yeah, that's it.
Do you guys have any predictions about wipeless servers?
About whitelist servers?
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Good question. My prediction is it's not really going to happen. It's not really feasible. Just as someone who's run servers for years now on this game, I see how performance holds up. And as you get more entities, then performance goes down. And although we've seen a number of optimizations and things like that over the years, um, it's still at a place where a wipeless Rust, after months and months, unless you get the decay right, but even then, there's performance issues. And also, I quite frankly don't think most players would like they think they want a wipeless Rust, but then once they had it, they get bored and go to a server that just freshly wiped. That's my sense of it, at least. I could be wrong, but I think wipeless Rust from a logistical, like technical standpoint, is not super feasible, at least at a performant long-term, way. And then I also just don't think the player base really wants it as much as some think they want it. Once they had it, they'd probably be like, ah, fuck this. But that's just my thoughts.
Going back to the destructible industrial components, it is 16 swings from a hatchet to kill the 200 health ones, and then the box adapters are only 4 hits from a hatchet.
Yeah, so the industrial components aren't that hard to interrupt, so to speak, if you get access to them. But yeah.
Let's see, next question. So about this, someone said that the water updates are supposed to be massive waves in a storm. And I saw Hudnik said that it was on AUX2. So maybe it's not in yet? Not yet.
Yeah, I think the big water stuff people are looking for is not going live today.
Yeah. Are the drones coming out this way?
No, no drones this wipe. Although once again, the drones will be remote controlled, it looks like, and they will be used to aim and control your auto turrets from the looks of it. So not so much reconnaissance drones, but more aiming drones, if that makes sense.
Can you pipe through bunkers, like roof bunkers or spiral stairs bunker? Also, can you pipe through doorways with vending machines blocking the door?
Oh, good question with the vending machine blocking the door. So the pipes, and let's test that real quick.
I,
The yeah,
I
Yeah.
have tested that. If you place the pipes down first, you can put the vending machine on top of them.
Yeah, that's it.
cool. Thank you for that clarification, guys. And the pipes have to go through either a doorway, which can be closed, a ladder hatch, or a window, but they can't be put through like little corners of building gaps or just walls in general. You have to actually feed them through. Ooh, server update is live. That's even maybe a little early here. We got the server update out. Let me update this and tweet about it real quick. Be right back.
Just to add to that as well, you can't put them through floor grills as far as we know at the minute too.
Oh, Artemis, quick question. Did you have God mode on when you did the red stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh, of
Yeah, so
course.
you
Yeah,
might
yeah,
want to
yeah,
test
yeah.
it without God mode on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, might look different. So is there a new AK recall?
No new AK
No.
recall this week. But cool, the server update is live. And if you're new to this whole thing, what that means basically is that's the first step in this update going live. We generally speaking will see the server update go live within, 15, 20 minutes before. Today it's a couple minutes early even, which is a great sign. And then we wait about 10, 15 minutes and the client update and the dev blog hit. And when that client update hits, that's when we say the update is live. Now, server owners, I recommend you start updating your servers now. We're going to be taking our servers down at Rustafied and updating them and wiping them so that when people get the client update, they are ready to join immediately. Do remember, server owners, you need to change your and set a specific query port that's different from your server port. Go to the bottom of my post today on rustified.com for more information on that and examples of configs. But if you do not do that, then you will have problems with players having trouble seeing and connecting to your servers. Also, to players out there, after you run the update and you look at your favorites or your history and you're like, where'd all the servers go? My servers are gone. Don't worry about it. That is a byproduct of this multi threaded networking. And with that, what you just have to do is research for the server on the server list or go to the community Discord and find direct connect info. Rustified servers, we did find a little workaround with our host. So most of our servers actually, thankfully, haven't reset the history and favorites, but a couple of them needed to because they're still on a different host. But yeah, as always, though, you can find the direct connect information on our Discord or just refresh the official list and you can find all our servers there.
Well, that didn't go according to plan, as you see.
Yeah, whoops.
So it's probably for the best, to be fair.
Cool.
Let me see. I think people have to get used to the new name change because I see a lot of shadows in there. Can you put pipes through a shop front?
I'm taking rads too, just for the record here.
Okay, taking rads
That's with the boost.
with the boost. Cool. Thank you for testing that. I'm sorry, what was the other question coming in?
If you can put a pipe through a shop front.
Oh, Artemis, did you have any luck testing that ever?
Shopfront, that's a good question, actually. I'll go
Yeah,
back
let's
and
try that
test.
real quick.
I think do a recap because yeah, then we'll take some more questions after.
Yeah, so the server update is live. We're just waiting on the client update to hit. And that should be in the next 10, 15 minutes, it looks like. So in the meantime, let's do a little recapity cap here. First and foremost, before we get into what's coming in the update, Charitable Rust 2022, the numbers came in and we raised over $250,000 for World Central Kitchen. And that brings our cumulative raised over all Charitable Rust to over $1 million raised for charity. So just a huge thank you. I'm so blown away by what positive impact this organization and this event has had over the years. And just a huge thank you to everyone who participated, bought skins, all that stuff. And a special thank you, as always, to Face Punch for their support, because without their support in these events, we couldn't have nearly the impact that we have. And Charitable Rust 2023 will be coming in October this year. So stay tuned for more information. We're still picking a charity and an exact date, but we'll have more information in the coming months. So, into the update, what is coming today? Well, the industrial system goes live. And if you're not familiar, the industrial system is basically a bunch of new items in the game that allow you to integrate with existing deployables and automate base activities like movement, storage, smelting, crafting, and more. So, first step of the industrial system is these conveyors. They are like the engine of the industrial system. The conveyor will allow you to send items from one place to another. They require electricity, but also have filters. So you can say, just send wood uh, from this box to another box. And if on the input box you put something other than wood, then that stuff will stay there. But if you put wood, that will travel through to another box. So if you want like a drop box that just brings the stuff from the front of your base to a more safe, deeper part of your base, you can set that up easily with the conveyor, some pipes, and electricity. Now let's talk about the pipes. The pipe tool is like the wire or hose tool, but for the industrial system. It behaves very similar to the wire or hose tool with a couple exceptions. So it does have a 30-meter limit on it, but you can't put it willy-nilly through walls or building gaps. You have to put the pipe tool, or you have to pipe these things through either doorways, windows, or ladder hatches. And we're experimenting with the shop front right now, actually, to see if that works as well. But yeah, the pipes are what will connect everything. You can hold R to select multiple colors. There's 4 different colors of the pipes for your organizational style. Next order of business, we have the storage adapter, and this is what goes on all the items to integrate with the industrial system. So it can be put on boxes, on furnaces, on cupboards, on lockers, all this stuff. And it has an industrial input and industrial output, so you can feed items in through pipes or pull them out through the pipes. And there's also a green and red light on there, so you can actually just visually see when something is being pulled out. You can also daisy chain boxes together with these storage adapters up to 16, so that you can have just a say just 16 boxes which just catch all the stuff that you put in. So pretty cool stuff there. Also, there's industrial smelting. The new electric furnace is in, and with that, oh, real quick, I love all the people asking questions and doing shadow_rustified, but just a friendly reminder, Shadow did transition to Miss D. So she's Miss D underscore that's me in chat now. So if you have questions, please do direct them there. We'll still try to keep an eye out for the Shadow ones as we get used to this change. I'm still going to be calling her Shadow accidentally for months, I'm sure. But that is the change. So Misty underscore that's me in chat for any questions. But yeah, there's the electric furnace as well. And so you can now basically take your raw materials and send them into a furnace, have the furnace automatically do the work, smelting it and everything like that, and then send them out somewhere else. And with the electric furnace, it, instead of running off wood, runs off of electricity, of course, 3 rust watts to run it. So it doesn't require wood, but also doesn't create any charcoal because, well, it's not burning wood, but it does smelt. It looks like about 40% faster than a normal furnace. So it's a little more efficient based on our initial testing. Keep in mind, all this is subject to change, and there's already changes and things that are in the works for future updates to improve the industrial system, such as the conveyor is going to have an inverse filter as well, so you can say take everything but wood out of here. But that's not going live today. We'll keep you up to date as that progresses. But we've got the storage adapters. That's what goes on everything. We've got the industrial smelting and the electric furnace to smelt things automatically. We also have industrial crafting and the industrial crafter specifically. You place it on a workbench, you hook up electricity, and then basically you can feed it a blueprint and the required resources. And when it has electricity, it will just automatically craft that stuff. And if you're putting this all together, what you can see is you can actually, with this system, create some pretty complex things, such as where you just drop your raw materials at a drop box at the front of your base. It gets piped through, filtered in your base. It goes out to specific furnaces to be smelted. And then the smelted resources could then be put into auto crafters with the certain blueprints. It can automatically craft items, then pipe those items through to somewhere else. And you can even set up things with the electricity where you just press a button near a box and it drops a fully loaded kit just for you right there. Really cool stuff. And I think what's exciting about this is it's not just going to help big groups. Of course, big groups are going to use this and gain from this, but it also, I think, stands to improve the quality of life for smaller groups and individuals who might just want more time to go out and gather and all that stuff and not spend so much time in the base crafting and smelting. This will allow them to automate that and have more time gathering resources. So it's going to be cool, I think. Then finally, we have combiner and splitter, and they just do exactly what they sound like. The combiner takes one pipe, turns it, or I'm sorry, the combiner takes three pipes, turns it into one, and the splitter takes one pipe and splits it into three. You can hit R when placing them to rotate them, and they don't require electricity. They have 20 HP. By the way, you can see all the crafting information for this if you go to rustafied.com. And then if you look, if you scroll down a bit, there's a link to industrial system overview article. That's an article I did last month, but then updated with the most recent crafting information and specifics on each one of these items. So you can use that as a reference as you're, starting this first wipe and looking to build your first industrial system. Now, on top of the industrial system, there are some other things, and I'm just checking real quick to make sure we don't have a client update yet. No, we're still, server update is live. Client is still pending. Devblog is still pending. But on top of the industrial system, there's some code lock quality of life. So basically, it'll prioritize change lock when the code lock is first placed. It'll prioritize lock when the code lock is unlocked. It will say, don't open change code lock UI right after entering a code, and it will show open door as default instead of change lock when building is blocked. There's also some new train loot wagons, some new variants of loot. They still have the dirt on it. You still have to bring it to the monument, but there's some new loot variants with military crates, and also some of them appear to have food and medical crates spawning in them as well. There's a bunch of miscellaneous fixes. You can see them all on rustafied.com, but the main one is allow doors to be placed on top of deployables like boxes and sleeping bags. Man, that's a nice one. Yeah, excited about that one. It's huge quality of life. Also, server and favorites on your server list will most likely reset for most servers after this update. That's due to a change with the multi-threaded networking. I'm not going to get into the technicals of that, but ideally, this change has servers perform better and provides a better experience for players. But within this change, server owners had to set a query port that's different than the server port, and that, as a result, can reset people's servers on the favorites and history list. So if you're missing a server, do just reset it, refresh the list and look again, or go to their Discord for direct connect information. Rustafied servers, most of ours, we were able to do a little tweak with our host. And so hopefully most of our servers have the history and favorites retained after the update. But just in case, you can always go to rustafied.com/Discord and find the maps and direct connect information all there. Also, we say goodbye to Hapis today. Hapis is going out of official map rotation. Facepunch is no longer going to officially support it. So we do say goodbye to Hapis, but also this community is awesome and has already started building a community built Hapis. If you want more information on that, go check them out. They got a great Discord run in discord.gg/Hapis Rust. One word, Hapis Rust. And join that Discord. We're going to keep following that as well. And we might put the community Hapis back into rotation on Zen Labs because our Zen Lab servers have been running Hapis. But for the time being, what we're doing with Zen Labs for at least this month is trying out something new. We're trying out a more hand-picked, small 2.5K map, 100 pop, PvP-oriented gameplay where the bandit and outpost are combined to maximize building space. And we're going to keep it weekly map wipes, and we're hand picking these maps to optimize for monuments and gameplay and everything like that. You can find the maps as well on our Discord under EU or US server map info or something like that. Yeah. And once again, just server owners, update your query reports. Go to rustafied.com, bottom of my post today for specifics on how to do that. But if you don't update your query reports, people will have trouble connecting after this update.
Question time?
Yeah, let's do it.
I actually see a lot of people asking why the name change.
Oh, yeah, Shadow or Misty. Why the name change?
Yeah.
Yeah, there I go.
So basically, I started on Rustafied 7.5 years ago, and I chose Shadow because that was my moderator name for a long time. But since I'm not doing moderation anymore, I don't need to have that name. So I'm using my main account. And yeah, so much easier.
Cool.
So that's the reason.
Thank you, Misty.
You're welcome, Bugs. Let me take some more questions here. Does the electric furnace give comfort and heat? I think it did. Last week I was having like the same comfort as the
Yeah.
normal furnace.
Yeah, just to clarify, it definitely gives comfort. I'm not sure about heat, to be honest.
Can you attach the new industrial components to the oil refinery?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
What does the industrial parts cost?
You can see all the crafting information on my industrial system overview post. But real quick, the conveyor is like 75 metal frags. The industrial crafter is 3 high quality metal, 2 tech trash. The industrial or the electric furnace is 5 high qual and 200 metal frags. Pipe tool is 2 high quality metal. Storage adapter is 100 metal frags, and the splitters are 75 frags.
It's like, holy moly, my screen just went black. One sec. What tier are the new industrial parts and how much, yeah, do they cost to learn and make?
They're mostly level 1 workbench, but some like the electric furnace and industrial crafter are level 2.
Can you pick up the new furnaces?
Artemis, are you able to pick that up?
Let me try him.
Ooh, client update is live. So let me tweet about that. Cool. So definitely go update your clients. If you're not seeing a client update in your Steam library yet, either restart Steam or try to verify the integrity of local game cache. And that will queue up the update. You don't have to go through the whole process, but if you start that and then cancel, it'll queue up the update. Real quick, I wanted to discuss. I saw some people asking about the hacker situation, everything like that, and I do want to address. Yeah, the hacker situation is bad. If you looked at the recap from last year, you'll see that there were 200 or 2 million players going through official servers, and there were over 800,000 accounts banned last year for hacking, and that's crazy. So I just want to share one of the things we're doing here. We've got a new anti-cheat software that we're working with. It's running really well. We're ramping things up to get rid of more suspect accounts and things like that, just to really swat these hackers before they're even doing damage in the server is the goal. And we've been testing that out and running it for a couple weeks now, and it's going really, really well. And we're cranking it up to the best that we can to really keep this hacker situation under control. And just a word of warning, if you are playing on a VPN, if you got a Steam level 0 account, if you got very low hours and a private profile and stuff like that, you may get banned from our servers, because that's just the nature of the beast right now. The hacker situation is so bad that we really got to start swatting this and fighting it. It's been like fighting a forest fire with a garden hose here. And so we're ramping up that throughput of water. We're getting rid of the hackers a lot quicker and a lot better than before. And we've got a great new team of 10 plus moderators coming on to help with that as well. And I've been really on the ground and really active lately, really trying to get rid of these hackers and keep our servers as clean as possible. And we've definitely seen an improvement with all these things going. So I do thank you guys for your understanding with the hacker situation, but no, we are doing everything we can, and we've got some new stuff that we're trying out that's really working well to combat these hackers, because it's a real friggin' problem. But we do hope that your experience on Rustafied servers is as hacker free as possible, and more so now than ever. That's the goal. That's the plan. And as always, if you see a hacker in our servers, use our in-game or in Discord report feature, and our moderation team is right on top of it and all that stuff. But with that, the client update is out. I haven't seen a dev blog quite yet, but you should all be updating your clients. We are getting our servers updated, wiped, and ready to go. And let's see if the dev blog's out yet. And boom, industrial update, dev blog is out. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So with that, we are going to wind this down and go make sure our servers are updated and good to go. Just a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. Huge thank you to Artemis, D, and Cobalt, as always, for being my co-MCs.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, and everyone have a good wipe.
Yeah. And, just once again, before we leave, just a huge thank you to everyone who tunes in, because a lot of people think we're, the developers of the game, or we're on the Face Punch payroll. And in fact, we are not. We're just fans of the game, running an independent organization and reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. And the only way that we can really keep doing this, running the servers and reporting, is through the support of the community. So to everyone who tunes in and watches each week, to people who give bits and subscribe on Twitch, and to our loyal, wonderful, beautiful VIP customers, thank you all so much, because literally we wouldn't be able to do this without you. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're here every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, to give you an update preview stream on what's going on in development, and every first Thursday to do what we're doing here. And also rustified.com, as always, every week, every Thursday, there's an article summarizing in text and uh, pictures, that's what those are called, what's going on in Rust development. And so just once again, a huge thank you to everyone. Much love to you all. I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs signing off.